Last topic we want to talk about here in this this 2.4 word problem section is this idea of what are called consecutive integer problems. So these are problems where we're told that our numbers are consecutive integers. So we begin with, well, what the heck are consecutive integers? Consecutive just means one after the other. So as an example of 4 consecutive integers, we could write down 4, 5, 6, 7. Right? Integers, whole numbers, positive or negative, that are one after another. Now the main question we're going to be interested in, though, is how do we represent these things algebraically? So if we don't know what one of the numbers is, how do we represent them? Well, we could say the first one can just be n. The next one, we look for how these numbers here progress. We look to see how do these numbers progress. So we got 4, then 5, then 6, then 7. So the next number is just one more. So we could write it as n plus 1, then n plus 2, then n plus 3. And if we needed more than 4, we could keep that pattern going. Keep that pattern going. So consecutive integers are just one after the other. So as soon as we know the first one, we can represent all of the other ones. We'll sometimes ask about consecutive even integers or consecutive odd integers. So consecutive even integers, that would be something like 8, 10, 12, 14. But again, we're interested in how would we write this algebraically? How would we represent it? Well, just like we did up above, we could let the first number be n. And then because they're consecutive even integers, how's the gap work? Well, the next one would have to be 2 more, then 4 more, then 6 more, and so on for as many as we need. And likewise, we can talk about, well, what about odd ones? Well, some odd numbers would be 7, 9, 11, 13. And notice here that the odd ones also have a gap of 2. A lot of people see that word odd and think, oh, I have to do odd numbers. No, it's how big is the gap that matters here for the consecutive numbers. So if the first one's n, the gap between the first and second is still 2. Then 4, then 6, and so on. So what makes these different, these even and odd ones, the two lists, is in the even list, that first number there is even. In the odd list, that first number is odd. But the gap in both cases is 2 between each number. Okay, so let's use this now to work out a word problem. So we want to find 3 consecutive integers whose sum is 78. Find 3 consecutive integers whose sum is 78. Okay, so here it's not consecutive even, but just consecutive integers. So if we let the first one be x or n or whatever variable you want to use, then the next one would be 1 more, and the next one would be 1 more than that. So those are our 3 numbers. And then we come up with an equation, and this is where we see the word sum. Remember, sum means you add stuff up. So we add them each up. X plus 1 plus x plus 2 equals 78. And now we have an algebraic equation to solve. So we can combine our like terms. X, and x will be 3x. 1 plus 2 would be 3. So we get 3x plus 3 equals 78. And then we just proceed to solve this equation. So we bring the 3 over to the other side by subtracting it. We get 3x equals 75. We then continue. By dividing both sides by 3. Now we get x is 25. So we've solved the equation, but we need to answer the question. What are the 3 numbers? Well, x is 25. So the first one's 25. Then it's going to be 25 plus 1, which will be 26. 25 plus 2, which will be 27. So the 3 numbers are 25, 26, and 27.